Colombia. This is from TURISAS, and we're coming to Colombia in March for the first time ever. Remember that you get your tickets at Arcanum stores. Go get yours now because they might run out. Cheers.
I take a look around. The blood of women that's painted in brown.
Well, it's all in all, it's been nothing sort of dramatic. It all, because it both comes at the same time, is more because of it's tied to our sort of touring cycle, and now we had a longer gap, so it was possible to make the change. But it's something that we talked about a long time ago. Well, Jukka-Pekka was never really permanently in the band. He was sort of a touring bass player, so he was kind of temporary from the start on. But when it comes to Tuomas, it was something that we've been talking about for a longer time, that he wanted to move on and do his own things, and then we just had to find a suitable timing for that, and that was now, because we've now sort of had taken some time off from touring and just started working on a new album. So that's why there's two members changing at the same time is basically because of the sort of touring cycle and how that goes. Well, right now we are recording a new album and taking a bit of a different approach than on the previous record once again, and also production-wise, we've sort of rented a big house here in the middle of nowhere in Finland and are pretty isolated from the rest of the world. Here working with music and recording on our own, so it's quite different to working in a studio somewhere, as we've done in the past. Yeah, so I think I've lost the question now. I think the sound will be more band orientated in a way. On the previous album, we kind of pushed the orchestral element as far as we possibly could, and that kind of felt so necessary for Stand Up and Fight. But right now, I think we want to do something different once again, and there's no point for us to try to top and make even a bigger album than Stand Up and Fight in that way. So it's a more sort of band-orientated approach. We are recording stuff by ourselves, as I told you, and on this album, both Olli and Jussi in the band have also submitted some ideas, and we composed some stuff together. So it's more that way rather than like a Stand Up and Fight, where most of the work was kind of lonely, and me working along with that, with a lot of session musicians and that kind of thing. So it's really inspiring to sort of change the working environment and the whole way of working between albums, because then it's sort of everything feels very different this time around, and it's sort of inspiring to not get sort of have the same routines as on when doing the last album. Well, it's not going to be just us guys on this album. I'm sure we'll have a lot of session musicians in later on down the line and in the process, but what I meant is it's not going to be as heavily orchestrated as the previous Stand Up and Fight. When it comes to something like Iiro Rantala, that's something that we never really planned, but I think the TV show came first, and then bass, because we did that, then we asked him if he wanted to play on our album, and we done that, and that was something that came pretty much unexpected out of the blue. He just got in touch and asked if we wanted to be part of this, and we said of course. And but we don't have anything like that planned right now. But we'll see what happens, and anything might happen. But I think there's definitely going to be some outside people playing don't know. That's actually a really hard question. It would be cool to have someone who's completely from doing something different than, just getting a singer from another metal band doing something would be a bit boring. So it would be nice to have something really kind of unexpected, like we did on the last album, playing with a jazz pianist. So. Yeah, absolutely. I really liked their first album. I remember when getting it, and they had a lot of horns and brass stuff on their album. So yeah, that could be cool, for instance. And there's a Finnish sort of brass band called Alamaailman Vasarat, which is like the hammers of the underworld, and they do really sort of quirky instrumental, some sort of pseudo Middle Eastern music, and that would be kind of fun to experiment with at some point if we had the time. So yeah, but there's plenty of possibilities, but right now we don't have anything solidly set, as we're kind of recording the album as we go. We are kind of writing the music or arranging the music and then recording it right away, which is kind of a new way for us to work. So maybe later on in the process we'll realize that we want to use saxophones here or something like that, and then we'll figure it out. We are working on this by ourselves, so it's going to be sort of self-produced once again. It's not that we don't really have any sort of. There's never been. We were kind of actually looking around for possible producers and stuff like that, but it's sort of just getting a producer for the sake of having one. I think it needs to be someone that we really admire and really love what they've done and feel that they could really bring something new to our sound and music. And I think why we always ended up doing the stuff ourselves has more been because of not really finding that right person, and not just wanting to just go with someone we don't really know much about, or who we don't sort of feel that we really want or need that person. So maybe in the future, but right now we are sort of working on it on our own once again. Well, actually, I'm going to have the first meeting or with our costume designer right after this phone call, actually. So we haven't really we've gone through some mail exchange, but we haven't really nailed what we want yet. So it's going to be a very sort of loose first discussion on what direction to take and what we want to do, and maybe see what ideas comes from the other end, and but we don't have anything solidly decided on the sort of look of the new album yet, because we've been so busy with the music and everything up till now, so haven't really had time to dig into that completely yet. But yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some sort of evolution in that side, the visual side as well of the band, because it's always been sort of part of what we do is trying to come up with new ideas and move forward album to album, and all feels like in the music and in the look of the band and that sort of thing. It keeps things exciting and fresh and interesting for ourselves, and without if things are not interesting for ourselves,